If I were to ask you the following question, you would probably answer exactly as I thought you would answer. Who is your neighbor? You might list the people who live on either side of you, maybe in front or in back of you. We strictly think that the definition of neighbor is someone who lives in close proximity to us. What's the old saying? High walls make great neighbors. When I think of the word neighbor, I think about when I was a young boy growing up. And we had a neighbor. My parents are here tonight, so they're going to like this. There was a three-story tenement, gray three-story tenement. And my brother and I used to play out in the backyard all the time. And there was the mean old lady. That's what we called Mrs. Messier, God rest her soul. For example, let me just show you how, or tell you how she was not a very nice neighbor to us. My parents had put a doghouse in the backyard. And I remember my brother, being my brother, was on top of the doghouse, trying to coax the dog to get into the doghouse. The things you don't forget. And the mean old lady, our next door neighbor, was up in her kitchen window yelling, "Get off that doghouse!" Of course, what do? We run inside and we tell Mom and Meme. If my brother and I played any type of activities that used balls and they went into her yard, we never saw them again. She was not a very nice neighbor. But Jesus is challenging us to not think of that word in a very strict sense. He wants us, if you will, to broaden our horizons. Neighbor, everyone with whom we come into contact. Jesus elevates the dignity, once again, of all human life. Because he says, yeah, it's so important to love God, but you also have to love your neighbor. And I'm thinking about that in a very particular way, because during the month of November, the church has traditionally remembered those who have gone before us, our deceased relatives and friends and loved ones. In our shrine, we have the Book of the Living, which you can sign and add names of your own loved ones. We have not many. Considering we had 70 deaths this year at the parish, there are only a handful of people who responded to our invitation to send us a picture of their loved ones so that we can remember and pray for our faithful departed. But there's another type of neighbor. And this is the neighbor that I want to reach out to tonight. And obviously, I can only do it this much. It requires all of us to get involved. It's to remember our neighbors who are still very much alive, but don't practice their faith for whatever reason. God knows the church has given its members plenty of reasons. Wait till you read the Boston Globe tomorrow. Yeah, another round of just bishops not doing what they should have done. We need to pray for our fellow Christians, our fellow Catholics who have abandoned the practice of our faith. They are our neighbors as well. We need to reach out to them, inviting them to come home. Why? So that here and now we can continue building up the body of Christ. And so, don't forget who your neighbor really is. It's not only the nasty old lady yelling at you from the second floor window.